where we take a look at little bits of business to try to leave our sessions a little more understanding about the business that surrounds us. This video is to celebrate Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary that's taking place in October 2021. In fact, we're dedicating the entire month of October 2021 to the business behind Disney. Today, we're going to be unpacking the strategy behind Disneyland via the red and blue ocean strategy. We'll start off with a quick Disney and Disneyland in a nutshell, and then we'll dive into the strategy itself. Before we begin, please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date with all the latest Business Caselette news and videos, especially our Disney series. And while you're at it, comment below your favorite Disney park memory. Alrighty, let's start off by means of a quick story. There once was a middle-aged man named Walt. Walt was the founder and creator of a little company named Walt Disney. One day, as Walt was spending the day with his daughters, Diane and Shannon, at the Carousel in Griffith Park, Los Angeles, he had a major brainwave on how he could expand his business by creating a new and magical way for a family to spend a day together. Walt shared his idea with his brother Roy whilst walking through an orange orchard in Anaheim, which would ultimately become the location for Disneyland itself, the happiest place on earth. But who was Walt Disney? Walt Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois on October 16, 1901. After gaining experience in animation and puttering around the new film industry, Walt and his brother Roy formed the Disney Brothers Studio in 1924. This later became the Walt Disney Company. Mickey Mouse was created in 1928, and in 1937, Disney won an Oscar for their first feature-length film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The rest is history. Now that we've got the Disney basics down, let's dive into the strategy that will allow us to unpack Disney's success. The blue ocean strategy is defined as the pursuit of a differentiated or new market opportunity, which would thus create new demand. Red ocean is defined as precisely the opposite, the pursuit of market share in an existing market where your primary goal is to compete for existing demand. The main difference here is that a blue ocean strategy tries to create new demand, while a red ocean strategy competes for demands that other firms have already acquired. With a red ocean strategy, think physics. Matter, like demand, cannot be created or destroyed, only changed. One quick note before we move on, I think it's important to understand why our terms are blue and red ocean. Well, the presence of competition is literally the idea behind the name. If you imagine your competitors to be sharks, with the presence of sharks comes shark attacks and thus red ocean. A business landscape without competition is thus still a beautiful blue landscape or blue ocean. Okay, now back to Disney. During the 1930s and 40s, Walt, being the family man he was, enjoyed taking his daughters to amusement parks. However, Walt was not thrilled with the options. This fueled his business case for Disneyland becoming a new concept. He truly saw it as a blue ocean. Once Walt was convinced, he got to work. Considering the location, Walt wanted to build the attraction next to his studio in Burbank, California, complete with a train. Walt liked trains. The city said no, so he hired a consultant to find him the perfect location, which ended up being in Anaheim, California. As you now know, Walt dragged his brother Roy, the money guy, to an Anaheim orange grove, where he explained his vision. Roy got on board and started to raise money for Disneyland, and he did it without debt. Walt, in a nutshell, tasked production designers, special effects technicians, and animators to essentially imagine up Disneyland. Their task was to redefine theme parks while perfecting the art of theme park design. This group became known as the Imagineers and has since built and designed all of Disney's parks around the world. Talk about cohesive branding. Stay tuned for more on the Imagineers throughout our October Disney month. At this point, your wheels should be turning about whether Disneyland is a blue or red ocean. So let's formalize it a little bit. While many of you might believe that the founding of Disneyland was a red ocean because amusement parks already existed, the founding of Disneyland is a completely blue ocean strategy. Why? Let's dive in. First, the competitive landscape of theme parks at the time of Disneyland's creation was scarce. The competition consisted of small family parks and a local fair that came through towns once or twice a year. Disneyland, on the other hand, which remember, hired production designers and animators who created the theme parks, resulted in an entirely new type of family entertainment. Overall, Disney created an entirely new marketplace. Everyone wanted to go to Disney, and it became a trip of a lifetime. There was no competition. And while Disneyland might not have been a money-making enterprise at first, it existed in consumers' imaginations as the happiest place on earth. A mind space or market that was previously unclaimed. Now, there are, of course, arguments for why Disneyland could be perceived as a red ocean due to incumbent amusement parks such as Coney Island or the circus, but there's no doubt that Walt and Roy Disney changed the script on the theme park industry. That's all for this caselet. In the next video, we will be continuing our dive into Disney for the 50th anniversary celebration of Walt Disney World. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode that focuses on strategy behind Disney Parks' Food and Wine Festival and how the hit movie Ratatouille plays in. In the meantime, be sure to like, subscribe, and of course ring the bell so you never miss a beat. And of course, check out our other videos on the Business Caselette, such as our Leadership Through Fiction series while you wait. Be happy, be well, and I'll see you in the next one.